Mason00g runs on Tron and XRP. Come and join me, cause you know where I be. Mason00g. All right, recording started. This is training with Mason00g, sponsored by Crypto00g.com. Welcome to the Crypto Academy virtual meetup. I have my guests here, keeping their privacy. So, hosted by Mason00g. My background: I'm an information technologies professional, consultant for 20 plus years. Prior Air Force, 10 years plus. I'm like to invest, real estate, crypto, and traditional markets. Business entrepreneur, owner, and CEO. Education and electronic principles, general engineer and web dev, and I love space and science. Got principles on that. One of the biggest things I have to make sure I disclose: I am not a licensed financial advisor or a tax advisor. Always be aware, anything worth investing in is always risky, and to never invest more than you're willing to lose or can afford. This is for entertainment and educational purposes only. Please enjoy the presentation, and let's go ahead and get started. Thank you. Okay, so the topics that we will be talking about today, we have investment strategies, crypto strategies, and what is really crypto. You know, that's been the really biggest thing that, you know, people have been trying to figure out. What is this crypto? You know, just this funny money. You know what I mean? That's what people look at it like. So you have, so we'll be going into that. We have saving money, knowing how to save your money. That's one of the biggest things that people, struggle with. What is credit? How to build credit, and what is it? Home buying, should you buy? Should you rent? What is a HELOC? And also refinancing strategies, whether it be a car, whether it be a home, anything else, any other asset that you may have. And at the end, we're going to have an AMA and also a crypto giveaway for $300 to the lucky winners. All right. Okay, so let's start with the investing strategies. So, of course, you have traditional stock, whether that be you want to invest in, let's say, Microsoft or, Amazon, Yahoo, whatever the case may be, Facebook. Those are some investment strategies that, most people know about. You also have precious metals. You have gold, silver. These are the things that people talk about, as investing. So if you're not familiar with that, those are things that you can look at. Of course, everything has a pro and con. And the objective of this training is to make sure that people are aware of these strategies. Obviously, we can go super deep into all of these, but that's not really the case. There's no way I can do this in, an hour or two. But, if you have questions and stuff like that, as we're going through the training, please speak up. So you have Roth IRA, which is after taxes. You have traditional IRA, which is pre-taxes. And those are different vehicles that you can use for your investment. One of the things that a lot of people don't realize is you can actually get your own individual IRA or Roth IRA on your own. It doesn't always have to be through your company. Typically when you get a savings account or investment account through your company, that would be called what's called a 401k, which sometimes includes matching. So, they can match you anywhere between 3 to 5%, and things of that nature. You also have other ways of investing is through home real estate, doing real estate, things of that nature. Buying properties, selling them, fixing them up, selling them, buying into commercial property, whether it be rentals or, any kind of commercial buildings if you want to rent out offices and stuff like that. And then lastly, we have whole life insurance, which is another investment vehicle. I've been reading a book on that, which has been very educational, understanding the difference between term life insurance versus whole life insurance. So those are some other things. And with that, you can actually have cash options. So, for example, if you have a whole life insurance, that will typically cover you for your whole life. And typically they say whole life is around 120 years, because typically, on average, nobody's really going to make 120 years, live to be 120 years plus. And what they allow you to do is your premiums, even though they have higher premiums, what they do is they allow you to accrue those premiums into a cash option. So you can either cash that out, or or you can take a loan, you can borrow from it. So these are just different concepts. So I want to take a pause here and see if anybody has any kind of questions or comments or anything they want to they want to ask to dive deeper into these investment strategies. So I'll turn it over to the viewers if you have any questions or anything or comments.
It's interesting that you mentioned the whole life insurance. Just a quick question. Are you familiar with infinite banking?
I have not heard of infinite banking, but I would definitely love to hear more about it. So what information do you have on that?
Well, the old man, his name is R. Nelson Nash,
Okay.
and he teaches the concept of using whole life insurance to it's absolutely amazing. Become your own bank. It's such common sense, to become your own bank and to have insurance policies and the cash value, and it's yours. If you got a $1 million insurance policy, and you borrow 250,000 against it, and there's no interest because you're borrowing your own money. And
Exactly.
so I feel, as we learn the cryptocurrency, I'm just as interested in that. But I started studying infinite banking, and it's a concept that's absolutely amazing. And even at 16 and Khalil is 22, you two guys definitely need to study what infinite banking is and the name. And it's a lot of people just like cryptocurrency doing it. But like Robert R. Nelson Nash is the old man that taught it. And it's absolutely incredible. And in conjunction with this, one funds the other. And it's a beautiful thing.
That is awesome. Thank you so much for bringing that up. Thank you. So this is why we do stuff like this, because passing around information is one of the biggest things that we can do, for any culture, not just African American, not just Caucasian or any other race, Asian, whatever. I think it's very important for passing around information and being clear and making sure that people understand it. So thank you so much for bringing that up. Does anybody else have any questions on this stuff here regarding metals, traditional stock, Roth IRA, home renovation, whole life insurance, or 401k with your job for investing? If not, we can move forward. All right, cool. All right, so the next one we have here is obviously cryptocurrency. So one of the biggest things about cryptocurrency is just it's a phenomenon. It's the greatest transfer of wealth right now, and it's what we call digital assets, basically. So with that being said, the cryptocurrencies that are most well known are Bitcoin and Ethereum. Those are the ones that most people know. But most people also don't know that there are over 10,000 other cryptocurrencies. so, so one of the cool things about crypto, the way I look at it, is if you look back on and thinking about this timeline, during this time I was probably in high school. I don't want to give all my dates out there. I don't want to tell people how old I am, but basically, yeah, back in the maybe the late '90s, that was during the internet.com boom. And one of the biggest things that people didn't know, there were so many other different companies that were coming out and doing things, and they were buying the stuff on the stocks and all that kind of stuff. But that's pretty much where crypto is right now. Crypto is in that same type of situation, and to be fair, people call it a bubble, and that may be true, but at the same time, these are actually real technologies that will be used in the future. Just like, after the dot-com boom, after the bubble crash, we say, look what emerged. We got Netflix, we got Hulu, we got Facebook, we got YouTube, we got Amazon. I can go on and on. So these are the companies that emerged out of the ashes of this .com boom that happened in 1990, mid 1990 to early 2000. And this is where we are today. So imagine if that never happened, there would be no YouTube. There would be no Instagram. There would be no Facebook. It would not exist right now. Think about that. There would be no Google to go on MapQuest. To go on Google Maps. Remember MapQuest when I used to have to print out my directions to go somewhere. Now I can just pull it up on my phone and I get directed where I need to go. So this is what we're talking about, So, so the biggest thing about crypto is now the new internet of value, the new transfer of wealth is what we're going into. This is the biggest transfer of wealth in human history of the planet. Okay? Gotta let that sink in. This is a new asset class. Just like, gold was a new asset class at some point. Not necessarily new, because that's been around since the Egypt time, but you get what I'm saying. Asset classes have been oil, gas, precious metals, seashells, unfortunately, men or women, depending on the culture. We're not going to go deep into that, but you get what I'm saying. That is a transfer, a medium of transfer, a medium of wealth, something that somebody wants and something that somebody doesn't have, and they're willing to trade for it. Basically, the bartering system. We're going into a whole new digital asset class, DeFi, CeFi, decentralized finance, centralized finance, earning crypto while you sleep, earning money while you sleep. This is a whole new thing. Your computer is making money for you via protocols. But anyway, so you can make money with cryptocurrencies, whether it be from, the volatility of the actual asset going up and down like Bitcoin or Ethereum, or, earning yield, earning interest. These are the other things that you can earn. There's a platform out there. I won't name any names. That's not the point of this training, but there's a platform out there you can earn, 60 to 80, 68% APR annually on a stable coin, on the dollar. You can also earn up to 205% APR on the dollar, as an example. So this is the beauty of cryptocurrency. So before I move to the next slide, does anybody have any questions or comments on that? All right, so we're going to move on to the next slide. Thank you. All right, so here's the difference between, so you can understand what crypto really is. What is the internet and what is crypto? Let's figure out what is the difference. What is the big deal? So what we're looking at here is the internet of information. That is what we went through between the 1980s to the early to late 2000s. We have been in the internet of information. Now we are converging into the internet of value. Okay? Explain deeper. Internet of value. Internet of information. Think of how fast you can get information now. You can type on your phone and pull up any information that you need. You can learn how to build anything on the internet. All you got to do is go to YouTube and type in whatever you want to know how to build. You want to build a box? Boom, you can know how to do it. You want to build a computer? Boom, you type in YouTube, how do I build a computer? Boom, instantly. That is the internet of information. The internet of data. Instagram, Facebook, XXX sites. Not going to say the word. We all know what I'm talking about. That is the internet of information. You want to learn how to put some sweet moves on somebody, on your significant other? Boom, internet of information. You get what I'm saying? So now we go into the internet of value. So let me explain here. So we have the internet protocol examples. We have HTTP or HTTPS. Internet websites such as Hulu, Netflix, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, you name it. Anything you need to know, XX sites. We also have secure FTP protocol, where you can actually transfer data device to device, PC to PC, or network to network. That's transferring data or information. You also have what we call VoIP, voice over IP, internet protocol, which includes, doing meetings like we're doing right now. Who would have thought in 1990 or 1980 I would be able to do this presentation with you while you're sitting at home on your computer? Impossible. If somebody would have came to you right now 20 years ago and said, hey, in 20 years we're going to be doing a virtual meeting with the presentation, with audio, with music, everything, across the world, everybody's in their own different state or country or whatever, and we can do it instantly at the speed of light. That is what voice over IP is able to do. These are protocols. So, voice over internet protocol, which allows a meeting to occur for speaking with people over the internet. Okay? Now we go into cryptocurrency. What is cryptocurrency? I'm going to try to make it simple and explain it's the same thing as the internet protocol of information. The only difference is it's the internet of value. So Bitcoin, transfer of value, slow transaction, high fees, high energy costs, example, dial-up internet, 1980s. Does anybody remember this? You don't have to answer yes or no. If you want, that's great. But this was the internet back in like 20 years ago, 22 years ago. Dial-up internet. Get onto the computer, all that stuff. That's what the internet was. Nobody was messing with the internet. I was, because I was interested. I love technology. But most people are like, man, I ain't got time for that. It's too slow. It's hard to use. Every time somebody calls me, I get kicked off. And for people that's younger than, if you're younger than 20 years old, you probably don't even know what the heck I'm talking about. So this is what I'm talking about. You don't even know about dial-up internet. So Ethereum, transfer of value, slow transaction fees, high energy costs, same thing. Example, dial-up internet. That's what Bitcoin and Ethereum are. Okay? Now, there's a lot of potential between these networks in these blockchains. Want to be fair here, and they're the ones that got us started, but these aren't the ones that's going to go get us to the finish line. So here we go. Think about what happened, what turned the innovation of internet around, what got people onboarded. Does anybody remember Roadrunner, high speed online? Does anybody remember that? I don't know if you remember that. Anybody remember that? So when you think about that, that's where the broadband internet comes in. And if you look at that, look at this diagram from this diagram. It looks way more futuristic because it is more futuristic. That's where we are now. Big difference 20 years later, 22 years later, basically. We have XRP, XLM, and others. And I say others, I mean 10,000 other cryptocurrencies that are way more efficient, way more easier to use, way more cost efficient, and a lot faster than Bitcoin and Ethereum. Transfer of value, fast transactions, low fees, low energy costs. Example, broadband internet. Think of Xfinity, think of Cox Cable, put any other thing in there. SpaceX, SpaceX, Tesla, Elon Musk has actually created his own internet called Starlink. I don't know if anybody knows about that, but we actually have satellites that are now orbiting the planet to provide high bandwidth internet globally across the planet. You could be in the middle of the ocean and get high-speed internet. You could be in the middle of the desert, in the Sahara Desert, with no towers around you anywhere and get high-speed internet. That is the future that we're headed to and that we're in right now. Okay, real quick, what does protocol mean? The official procedure or system of rules governing affairs or state of a diplomatic occasion or process. In my words, a protocol governs how a system or systems will operate and function via consensus or other decided methods. Mason00g. That's my example. So anyway, we'll move on to that. Before we move on, does anybody have any questions? Take a quick pause. Cool. All right, next thing. Now, how to save money. This has been one of the biggest things that people, for decades, for centuries, that people struggle with, how to save money. The biggest thing that I've learned in my life personally, how to save money, is make it automatic. Automatic payments. Pay yourself, then pay your bills. Always pay yourself first. You should always be paying yourself first. So anytime you get paid, you need to pay yourself first. How can you set up an automatic payment? Well, the way you do it is you go to your bank account and you go to transfer. You set up a savings account or an investment account, however you want to do it, and you say, okay, after all my budgeting, income versus expenses, what I want to do is make sure I set up an automatic payment to pay myself $100 a month, $200 a month, $300 a month, whatever you can afford. Hell, it could be $10 a month. It don't matter. Just make sure you put it on automatic. That's the way that you can build internal wealth for yourself, and then you can in turn take that savings to, take that and invest, like we've been talking about with the other options we talked about previously. The next biggest thing that you will need to understand about saving is you need to be able to control your spending habits, not being a hyper consumer. That is the problem in America. We are conditioned to be consumers, not producers. That is the biggest problem doing my research, reading books, and trying to discipline myself is not always spending so much. It's fine to treat yourself. Don't get me wrong. If you want to go shopping and you're depressed or you're just happy you achieved something, fine, go buy you something. But you shouldn't be buying and spending money all the time, especially if it's a depreciating asset. You want to make sure that it's a appreciating asset, which means that asset is going to generate value for you over time, not take away from you. So again, there's nothing wrong with spending money on yourself and pleasing yourself, as a reward, but don't go overboard. You also want to make sure that you have emergency funds and vacation funds as well set aside. Emergency, your car, messes up, you get a flat tire, whatever the case may be. You also want to make sure that you have money for vacation funds. We work hard. We work for the man or woman, whatever the case may be. You work for yourself, whatever. You should have money to go on a vacation. Take a break. Get away from it all. Come back. Be rejuvenated. So saving money is very important, but doing it automatically is the key. And also paying your bills automatically too. You can also set your account up to pay your bills automatically as well. All right, so moving on. Any questions on this or comments? Just to make sure everybody gets the opportunity. All right. Okay, so the next topic is building credit and what is credit. Understanding credit. This right here is the bane of my existence. Nobody ever taught me about credit in school or anything. I had to learn this on my own. I had to educate myself and find out what the hell is credit? Why is it needed? Why does it matter? But once I dived into it and I started to understand, okay, I get credit now. All credit is a social or mechanical or process, however you want to look at it. It's a meter of gauging, can you pay me back? Or are you able to pay what you owe? Or are you able to be consistent? Or are you able to be punctual? That's all credit is. And if you understand that, all you have to do is make sure if you're in the system, if you want to borrow or take out loans or whatever the case may be, you have to be able to prove and show that you can be consistent. So, so how to build your credit score. One of the ways that you can build your credit score, if you're just starting out, if you don't have any credit, you can try to get a small credit card with, hopefully the lowest fee is possible, the interest. If that's not possible, fine, take the interest hit. But just make sure when you use the credit card, you pay it off the next month. or you carry a small balance, month after month, but you make sure it doesn't get away from you. It can be very difficult though. It takes a lot of discipline. Other ways that you can build credit, you can actually go buy furniture, from different various credit furniture stores or any other store. You can do it that way. We can go deeper into that, but those are different ways you can actually build your credit. The biggest thing about building your credit, you need to be able to show that you can consistently, punctually make your payment. The best way to do that is by doing it automatically. That's how you build credit. Now, of course, in order to do that, you have to have some kind of source of income. So you need to be making money, either cutting grass, working a job, starting your own business, or whatever the case may be. But you need to make sure that you have, a certain amount of income coming in to be able to cover, the loan or the credit card or whatever it is that you bought on a loan basis. So that's the biggest thing. The other difference is you need to understand assets versus liabilities. So if you get an asset would be something that appreciates in value, like a home, or if you're investing in a business, hopefully your business will do well. That is an asset. If you invest in a liability, if you buy credit, something that's not going to make you money. If you're buying, just frivolous things, buying an Xbox or a PlayStation, yeah, that's going to bring you, instant gratification, but it's not really an asset, unless you're buying an Xbox to be a pro gamer and you're going to make money off of that, then that would be an asset. Things like that. All right. So how to keep your credit score safe? One of the things you can do that I employ is you can go to your bank account, or you can find outside, third-party vendors that provide, credit like a LifeLock or something like that, and you can actually go to your bank account. Or to your bank and say, hey, I want to get a credit evaluation company that monitors my credit. Because the last thing you want to do is somebody to hijack your credit, get your information or your social, and they get that information and then, they take advantage of you and you don't know about it. It could be years down the road. They put credit cards in your name, or they buy houses. You don't even know about it. Boom, you're screwed. Your credit card's screwed. Your credit's screwed. Now you got to go and get lawyers and try to fight it. But if you have actual credit tracking and monitoring, then they can actually provide you insurance that'll cover that for you. So that's one of the cool things about how to keep your credit safe. And I've done that for decades. As low as $12 a month, it's worth it. It's worth that peace of mind just to know that I have something that's tracking my credit, and I get a quarterly or a semi-annually report on my credit, so I can see what is actually on my credit score. So that's very important to keep in mind of. Okay, one of the biggest things about credit that people don't understand: do I need credit if I have cash money? Well, technically, you really don't need credit. If you have cash money, just buy what you need. You don't need credit. That's one of the biggest things that people don't understand. Now, don't get me wrong. Credit is a beautiful thing. I love credit. I love debt. To be honest with you, we're in a debt society. And I know that's crazy for me to say, but if you understand how debt works, you can actually use it to your advantage. And we'll get into that on the next slide. But, the biggest thing about debt that most people are scared of is because they're worrying about those monthly payments and can they afford it? Rightfully so. Nobody wants to have a debt over their hand. That's why I have this picture right here. That's what it feels like. But if you have a debt as an asset, and your asset is outweighing your debt, the potential of the asset is outdoing your debt, then debt is not a problem. Debt is not a problem at all. That's the way the country is ran. That's what they want. They want us in a debt system, but you have to understand it. All right. So does anybody have any questions on that before I go to the next slide? Just wanted to be interactive. Don't feel afraid to jump in. If you do have questions, please do. It won't throw me off a bit. So I'll take a quick pause. All right. Take that everybody's good to go. Okay. So one of the things that you can use, just piggybacking off of that debt situation, you can actually buy a home. So that's one of the things that you can use with your debt. If you buy a home, you're actually able to build equity into your home, and you have options with that equity. Versus renting, you're paying for something. Now, of course, there are pros and cons. That's why I wanted to be fair, and I'll put this here and I'll read this out to everybody if it's too small. But one of the things of buying a home, which I've realized, because I'm a homeowner, and it's a beautiful thing. Having that debt. Yeah, you have that debt. It's like, oh my God, I got to pay this bill. But here's the thing: you got to live somewhere anyway. Unless you're going to be living in your car, or you're going to be living with a friend or whatever, you got to live somewhere anyway. So why not buy the home? Why not buy an asset, something that you own? Now, of course, I'm going to read out the pros and cons or the differences. So pros of owning versus renting. Owning, you're building equity, stability, freedom with the space, federal tax incentives, fixed payments. If you have a fixed APR, you don't want to have no balloon. You don't want to have no variable interest rate. Those are death killers, finance killers. You don't want to have any of that stuff. You want to have a fixed APR. Sense of pride of community. All right, so let's look at the differences with renting. No long-term commitment, so you're free to go. Of course, it depends on your living situation, so I will be fair there. Depends on your situation. You may not be in a position to own. That's fine. If you think renting is better, then do that. No problem. I'm not saying anyone is better than the other. I'm just making sure that everybody understands the difference between owning versus renting. So, no long-term commitment. You don't have to pay for maintenance or repairs. That's one thing that most people don't want to deal with. I have to deal with that. I have to make sure, I got a pressure washer so I can clean the front of my house. I was getting a little bit of algae, so I had to take care of that. I got to cut the grass. Maybe somebody don't want to deal with that. I get that. No property taxes. No homeowners insurance. That's another thing you got to have. No large down payment, required. Of course, if you were or are in the military, you don't have to do that because you have a VA loan. You can use your VA loan, and typically you can get no down payment if you were in the military. Just want to throw that out there. You also have utilities may be included in your actual rent amount. When you buy a home, you got to pay all the utilities separate. Trash, water, electricity, gas, whatever. All that stuff. So you do have to make sure you pay that. Now, so with that being said, so you have, how to buy your first home. Basically just doing your research. You can go to different websites, Georgia MLS or, any other state MLS. You can go and look at that, New York MLS or Texas MLS or whatever the case may be, something equivalent. You can also apply for a HELOC, which is a home equity loan account. And what that allows you to do is you keep your standard mortgage the same. You're actually able to pull out equity of your home, basically what they call a second mortgage. There are some pitfalls of that. You definitely want to be careful, but you want to make sure you do your research. Or you can do what's called a complete refinance the home. When you refinance the home, if you are able to, you can actually pull cash or equity out of your home and just roll that back into the new loan. And that's actually a good way to build wealth or to build, create a way for you to invest in other vehicles. The biggest thing, if you're going to actually pull cash or equity out of your home, you want to make sure that you're not going to go buy a Tesla after the fact. You want to use that to pay off all your debt. Any debt that you may have, pay it off. Don't play around. Pay your debt off. When I say pay your debt off, I mean pay debt that you have already accumulated outside of your home. So, whether that be a car note or a car, whether that be a credit card, whether that be medical bills, whatever. You want to pay that stuff off with the cash that you pulled out, if you're able to. Or you can just simply refi without pulling cash out. You can just get a simple lower interest based on the current market or situation. Or you can just do it to lower your monthly payment if you're tired of paying the payments that you're making plus your escrow. Your property tax, your homeowner's insurance, and your homeowner's insurance. All that stuff is included in your escrow. All right, so we covered the home buying versus renting and pretty much everything on this slide. Does anybody have any questions with that? All right. Cool, cool. All right, moving on to the next slide. We're actually making pretty good time here. Oh, and looks like that's it. So we're at the actual AMA. So just wanted to go over that and give everybody an opportunity, and we'll go over any questions that you may have. If you have any questions that you want to ask me, and then after this, we'll get into the actual free giveaway of the cryptos. And I don't think we need to probably record that part. I want to keep everybody's information private when we do that. So this will be the last part of the recording. So if anybody has any questions, this is the AMA part of the training. Nobody got any questions? Is everybody hearing me okay,
No, no, no.
or
You
was
got
I on
everybody.
mute?
You
Okay.
no questions. Everything's just pretty much laid out.
Okay. What about anybody else? No questions? It's a AMA. You got a chance. Crypto, real estate, anything. Let's go. I mean, y'all gotta have something. Nobody? All right. I guess I answered everything. All right. So I'm gonna go ahead and stop the recording. So once again, I appreciate everybody. Before I do that, let me go into my website, just so everybody can see that while I have the recording. So this is my actual Mason00g website here. Let me go to the main page just as we go ahead and close this up. Give that a second. So this is my website here. Please take the time to go and check out the website. It's www.crypto00g.com. And you can go here. I'm going to be adding some new stuff. I'm also going to be adding some travel discounts. So if you're one and you like to travel, that is going to be the next thing I'm probably going to add under here under products, and you'll be able to travel on me as through a discount. So I'm really excited about that. That's going to be a new product I'm going to be adding. Hopefully, too, in the future, I'm going to be adding merchandise. So I have my own NFTs. You can go and check that out. I have free educational videos, so you definitely want to go check that out as well. That goes a little bit deeper into some of the vehicles that I was talking about. I also have courses where you can take quizzes. If you have any recommendations on courses that you would like to see, you can always shoot me an email at teammason00g at gmail.com, and I'll go through that here in a second. Also, I would like to do more events like this. This is really fun for me. I love doing it, just educating people. So I will be doing different events. So check that out. And once you log in, you can look at your book events. So this is my website here. Just goes through everything right here. This is me, your educator, Mason00g. If you would like to give donations, not for the people that's on here, but if you are in the crypto, if you would like to give donations, you can give donations here to these following cryptocurrencies as well as now payments. If you want to check that out. And last but not least, if you want to sign up with crypto and you want to get free crypto, I highly recommend Coinbase, Crypto.com, and Bittrex. These are American-based cryptocurrency exchanges. Very safe. I've been with them for multiple years and feel comfortable with them, and would highly recommend them if you want to get started. Of course, there's other ones such as Uphold, eToro, Binance, and so on and so forth. But as of right now, these are the only three that I feel comfortable putting on actually on my website. As well, if you want to read more about blockchains, understanding what a blockchain is, you can go here and check these out. I have this. This will be coming soon. We also have dApps that you can check out as well. Also, crypto guides. You can look at virtual property, how to make money on virtual property. So I actually earn income playing virtual games with virtual property. So I can actually earn profit by owning my own smelter business, or my own glasswork business, or my own metalworking business, all in crypto. And I can earn income from that. And also, you can contact us by going here and the About Me, and all the information you need there as well. If you also look down here, let me see where it is. Give me 1 second. I think I moved it, so forgive me. But anyway, you can locate the contact information on the contact page. So, with that being said, once again, Mason00g, I appreciate everybody's time. I thank you so much for joining the meetup, and what, like I said, stay because we're gonna do the crypto giveaway after this. All right, so I'm gonna go with that. I'm gonna go ahead and end the recording. Thank you so much, Mason00g. I'm out. Peace.